go to the NFL, though. We got a fun one Monday night this week. Eagles traveling to Green Bay to battle it out with the Packers for NFC supremacy. Both teams currently sit atop of their respective divisions and have a great chance to end the season with the number 1 seed. But they won't be battling for that spot alone. The top 8 teams in the conference are separated by just 1 game, from the Eagles all the way to the Bears. Philly has the best chance to get the 1 seed at 22%. That's according to ESPN analytics. And so we're happy to welcome Mina Kimes here into the first take. Hello, Mina. The question is, does the NFC still run through Philadelphia? What do you think?
I don't think it does. I don't think you can sit here today and say that the Philadelphia Eagles, as good as they are, as much as they've improved on offense, as much as I like the Jalen Phillips trade in particular, are even markedly better than the Rams, the Seahawks, or the Lions. All 3 of whom, by the way, still rank way above Philadelphia in most efficiency metrics. Looking at DVOA, which is FTN Fantasy's excellent metric that counts for both offense and defense, the Rams and the Seahawks are both at the top. The Lions not far behind. We're only a few weeks removed from absolutely panicking about this Eagles offense, guys. I like what I've seen lately. I think they're fixing their issues. But look at those other teams. Here's the thing no one talks about with the Rams. Everybody loves the offense. Everybody loves how Matthew Stafford is playing. Obviously, they're a juggernaut with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams on the field. The Rams' defense, quietly one of the most improved units in the entire NFL, arguably better than Philadelphia at this point. The Seahawks have, I think, the best defense of the 3 and an offense that's more explosive. So I like Philly. Again, I like what they did. I think they're going to easily win the division, but I don't think they are better than those teams.
So to the Rams' defensive point, Chris Shula, their defensive coordinator, put his name on the head coaching lists. He will absolutely be getting interviews and absolutely be a head coach in the next couple of years. You got to go through Philly. We've seen enough from this football team. That doesn't mean that I don't think the Rams, excellent. The Lions, excellent. The Seahawks, excellent. I think they're just as good. And I could sit here and tell you, during the regular season, I would choose them. You got to go through Philly. Philly is. We said this in the offseason. Just like in the AFC, where you have to go through Patrick when it's win or go home, you got to go through Hurts. Whether you think he's good or not, whether you think he's a top 10 quarterback or not, I don't care. When it comes to you win or go home, he's the guy you got to go through in that conference. They're 5-0, Sirianni and Hurts at home in the playoffs. The average point differential is 35-14. Jalen Hurts is one of the most risk-averse quarterbacks we've ever seen in the NFL, and certainly the one since Aaron Rodgers. All this team does is not give the ball away, and when you give the ball to them, capitalize off of it. That's a recipe to succeed in the NFL when it comes to the playoffs. And so while I sit here and I love Matthew Stafford, when it comes to the playoffs, you got to go beat Philly, and you got to go beat Jalen Hurts.
Go ahead, Stephen A. What do you think?
I think it depends on home field advantage. I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one because of some of the things that Dan said. But most importantly, I'm thinking that the road to the Super Bowl is going to travel literally through Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, and that's how I'm looking at it. If the road to the Super Bowl had to go through Seattle, and that's where you had to go to play a playoff game, obviously I would change my thinking to some degree because I think Seattle is that formidable, particularly on the defensive side of the ball and with that home crowd. I see guys in the NFC West. I mean, you talk about the Rams, you've got a couple of games. You got San Francisco, you've got Seattle, you've got Detroit coming down the pike on your schedule, etc. So a legitimate argument could be made that the teams that Mina brought up, you're going to beat up on each other to some degree, and I get that part. Philadelphia, I'm thinking that Philadelphia, their struggles, the kind of struggles that they had earlier, things are going to be rectified. I don't think you're going to hear much from A.J. Brown moving forward. I think that Howie Roseman and what he did before the trading deadline to buffer up that defense, I think that's going to be of added assistance. So the struggle that they had earlier on is not something that we're going to see as the season wanes. I think we look at it from that standpoint, and it's a legitimate case to make that the road still has to go through Philadelphia, but you better have home court advantage because I don't like anybody's prospects having to go to Seattle to win on the road. That much I will say.
I think this conversation leans more toward Seattle to me than the Los Angeles Rams based on what I've seen.
Really?
Right, based on what I've seen. Now, here's the thing. When you watch Matthew Stafford play football right now, if an alien came down and this alien was like, take me to your best quarterback leader, I'd be like, hey, man, go watch Matthew Stafford.
No one throwing it back.
They ain't nobody throwing the football like Matthew Stafford is throwing the football right now. From a decision-making standpoint, from a creativity standpoint, like Matthew Stafford is playing the game at as high of a level as he's ever played it. But there is no way you watch Seattle on defense as somebody who loves defensive play and don't just lose your mind every time you watch Mike McDonald, right? Like every time you see the disguise to the post-snap coverage or the simulated blitz or the pressure to what truly the quarterback sees after the snap, or watch Leonard Williams run down Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Get up hype and say to yourself, oh, wait,
He's
their best player is hustling like that? Or then see Okada catch an interception, who, by the way, been making plays all year. This ain't the first time dude is popped.
All year,
Then see him catch the football, toe tap, and get out. Like, those things that you're seeing from Seattle, and now adding Shaheed to JSN, who has proven to be uncoverable. And I don't even know how he does it, right? Like, if you looked at him, you'd be like, okay, what's his, like, one physical trait that, as my uncle say, they ain't nan, right? But he cannot, he's just a
got them squatty legs.
Professional route runner. So though I do feel that the Eagles, it goes through them because of what they've earned and honestly who they are. We'll learn a lot about them in the next 2 weeks. They got the Packers, the Lions, and then later on they see the Bills. So we'll learn a lot about the Eagles. To me, the team to watch is the Seattle Seahawks.
Go ahead, Mina. You want to jump back in?
Yeah, I mean, I get so excited talking about the Seahawks defense, and Ryan just bringing up those names got me going. Of the four defenses, this is the best defense of the four, arguably the best in the NFL. And I think to make this more about matchups, they're really good at the things that have historically given Jalen Hurts trouble, the simulated pressures, spinning disguise on the back end, playing those shell coverages. I think Mike McDonald would have hypothetically a brilliant game plan for this Eagles offense in particular that, again, has been up and down. We need to acknowledge we are not that removed from talking about how they were broken. And here's the other thing I want to say about the Seahawks. Does anyone here know what Mike McDonald's record is on the road with this team?
10-1.
10-1?
10-1
11-1.
Oh, 11-1 now, okay.
11-1, guys. So when we talk about the road going through the Philadelphia Eagles, you know who's not scared of doing that? This Seattle Seahawks team, because they have been going on the road and dominating teams.
Well, hold on, Mina Kimes. Let's pump the brakes for just a second.
I know where this is going.
Coach McDonald can feel that way all he wants to. He ain't Coach Sam Darnold in the playoffs.
I knew it.
He ain't Coach Sam Darnold in the playoffs.
You make
okay, so let's wait. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Okay, let's wait and see. Sam Darnold, first of all, the man got about a $23 million raise. Let me say this to you, Dan, just so to put things in its proper perspective. He was playing on a one-year, $10 million deal last year in Minnesota. He's getting about $33.5 million this year for Seattle. He's underpaid compared to how he's performing. He's been fantastic, and he's an MVP candidate. Mad respect for what he has done this season. But we don't get to ignore the history. We do have to take that into consideration, especially when it's recent history. All I'm saying is, once again, just like we did last year, said, let's wait to see what he does in the playoffs. We're saying the same thing this year. Let's wait to see what he does in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. And that is reasonable. That is reasonable. That is not vicious. That is not hating. That is just talking facts.
I tend to agree with this because, guys, I mean, the Seattle Seahawks are a very good football team, but they've beat up on New Orleans, the Cardinals, Jacksonville, Houston, and a banged-up Washington team.
Yeah, but they're
beat
not the doors off them.
Sure, but
they beat them how you're supposed to, though.
Sure, but the Commanders, I mean, they didn't even have their starting quarterback in there half the time.
I agree, man.
But
I'm not.
But eyeballs don't lie. You know, like you could just watch teams playing, like,
but they're not proven the way
awesome.
They haven't been battle tested the way the Eagles
I mean, they're
have.
going to get. I would be very surprised if one of those teams from the West is not playing in the NFC title game.
Agreed.
I think those teams are clearly great. Here's my question with the Eagles: can they score enough? You know, I think the NFC this year is about offensive firepower. You got to have firepower to make it to the Super Bowl. Last year, we had the conversation that it was the team that was going to run the football the best.
Yes.
You got to score this year. And I think to Mina's point, Now, the Philly offense has been better the past 2 weeks, but the Rams offense has clicked basically all season long. The Seattle offense has clicked basically all season long. Detroit's been a little bit hit or miss, but for the most part, it's clicked all season long. For Philly, can you score? And I will also say vice versa. Can you get the quarterback on the ground in that conference? Because if we're talking, Tampa's in this conversation as well.
Yep.
They can score. Seattle can score. Their quarterbacks are lighting it up. So I think that's what makes me a little bit encouraged about Philly, too, is they're getting Nolan Smith back, the addition of Jalen Phillips,
Yes.
Nakobe Dean back healthy is a big deal.
But I think Howie did what Howie always does. It's obviously Howie don't care about what we say. But the things that we see are deficiencies in the Philadelphia Eagles. He sees them too.
Yeah.
And instead of sitting back and waiting for those things to fix themselves, he goes out and fixes them. What he knows is he has a star in Quinyon Mitchell and a star in Cooper DeJean. They needed another player. So you go get Michael Carter, who's a true slot corner. You add Jair Alexander, and now you use Cooper as that piece that can move around where he's going to be needed. And so I think they've taken that step defensively, especially with Jalen Phillips, and I do believe they could score enough. They're my team to beat, but I just had to talk about why I think Seattle is one to watch.
And I'd say this, out of those 5 teams that we were just talking about a ton, when it just comes to the reality, the quarterback that you trust the most, go win or go home, you have to put Hurts there. And I love Matthew, but then you put Matthew.
Yeah.
And then there's probably just a step behind that group of Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, and Baker.
So you got Hurts first and Matthew Stafford, and you got Sam Darnold sprinkled somewhere in there, 4th or 5th, right? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just asking Dan. I'm just asking Dan, the quarterback lover. You understand? I'm just asking Dan. I'm just wondering.
Whoa.
I'm just saying.
First of all,
Hey, why you call you a stop?
because he's a quarterback hater.
lover, man.
Quarterback hater. He can find anything to say.
Yeah, I know you
about
better
a
watch your
quarterback
mouth.
that's negative
I know
about
you better watch your mouth before I hit you with when I hit you with that cheap belt of yours. You better watch your mouth.
Stop stealing my stuff.
Oh, my
First of all, that belt wasn't cheap. It was free.
Speaking of, it was free. Why are you giving it away?
It
Why
was
are you
literally
selling that?
free.
Look, I've worked at ESPN on various shows now for the last 5 years, and at no point have I heard someone on one of the desks or on a radio show say the Colts are going to be Super Bowl contenders. That is, until yesterday. And it's hard to argue, right? They've scored 290 points this season as Indy sits at 7-2. Last time they started 7-2 or better was 2009, the year they won the AFC Championship. The Colts also lead the AFC South. It's been over a decade since they won that division. Also, take all that now, put a little sauce on it, right? The addition of Sauce Gardner makes the Colts are contenders story even more real. Just ask their quarterback.
I mean, I think obviously they believe in our team and what we can do this year. You know, we've played well. There's still a lot in front of us, and we've got to go continue to improve and play well week to week. But as players, and you see that movement from ownership, from management and the coaches, I think, it definitely gives you confidence.
I don't know if he said it with a ton of confidence, but I'm going to take it that he has the ton of confidence, does Daniel Jones. Look, with the addition of Sauce Gardner, as I just laid out, there's added expectations now for the Indianapolis Colts. But the question for you, RC, is can Daniel Jones handle that pressure?
No. And they shouldn't make him. That don't mean they can't win. Right? Like that's the difference to me. Right? Shane Steichen shouldn't put this on Daniel Jones. We shouldn't drop Daniel Jones back 50 times and try to win football games. And I know you've been great throwing the football on early downs and attacking certain coverages based on their propensity to scheme, right, and call plays to stop the run early on. But people catch on to those tips and tendencies. So Shane Steichen, who is an extremely talented offensive coach, what's the adjustment? What's the change? Now, defensively, with Lou Anarumo on the defensive side of the ball, Kenny Moore now healthy, you add Sauce Gardner, and let me tell you what, one thing about old Mina Kimes, she gonna study that film. She already hit me like, hey, bro, Sauce can still go, and she's absolutely correct. I think Sauce's thing is he came into the league here, and he's kind of still just there. And we've watched other people elevate, but Sauce is still absolutely locked down and physical in man-to-man coverages. And now you add that piece. So for me, it's not if Daniel Jones can handle it or not. It's how you make sure he doesn't have to handle the pressure, that he understands it's not just on him. And that's going to be Shane Steichen's job going forward.
Go ahead, Mina.
Completely agree. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, looking at the question, can Daniel Jones handle the expectations? I believe Daniel Jones can take this team to the Super Bowl. I also believe, as Ryan said, it can't be on his shoulders the way it was against Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Shane Steichen's been awesome this year. He's a Coach of the Year frontrunner, but this was a miss for him. And I guarantee you he knows that this week. Because going back and watching that game, they should have handed the ball off more. This is an offensive line that is better run blocking than pass protecting. They've been able to thrive using play action. The Steelers said, cool, we know you're throwing the ball. It felt like they were a step ahead of them the whole time, and that's when you brought out Daniel Jones' worst tendencies. And yes, he does have them. He still has some issues with pressure feel that was exacerbated by the game plan and what the Steelers did to them. I think Daniel Jones, supported by the Colts run game and this improved defense, can absolutely play at that level. And the defense, I think, is going to be significantly better because not only are they getting Sauce Gardner, Travarius Ward, the cornerback, is going to come back soon. Lou Anarumo with 2 shutdown corners, what he's been doing with the pass rush, I think Latu's been playing well. That defense is good enough as well to go to the Super Bowl. I am still in on the Indianapolis Colts. I just think this week they had a bad game plan and they ran into some unexpected tweaks on defense in Pittsburgh.
Well, stop the presses. Stop the presses, Mina. They went into this week, they just had a bad game plan. Really? Excuse me, that's part of the process to make sure you don't have bad game plans, okay? This is the thing that kills me with you, with RC, to a lesser degree, Dan Orlovsky, actually to a higher degree, Dan Orlovsky. I'm saying this affectionately because I have the right to do it because you know I love all of y'all to death. You know I love all of y'all to death. Y'all are some football snobs. Nobody has called you this on national television. I'm calling you right now, all 3 of you. All 3 of you.
I don't feel like that's wrong.
Football snobs. That's what you are. And I'm going to tell you, and that's why I'm looking right at you, RC. And I'm going to tell you why you're a snob. And I'm going to tell you, Mina, why you're a snob, too. All 3 of you are snobs. Oh, I totally believe in Daniel Jones, and he'll take us to the Super Bowl. He'll take the Colts to the Super Bowl. However, I do agree with you, RC, that you can't rely on just him. You gotta pick one.
We did.
You gotta pick one. You can't. Listen. Here's the deal. This is unbelievable. This is what I mean when I say you gotta pick one. We're asking the question because what we're saying, y'all, is this. Obviously, there's a multitude of components that come with a football game and define a success for a team. But what we're really saying is, just for the layman out there, speaking on behalf of the layman, because far be it, y'all, football knowledge is so above the rest of us, which it is, by the way. It's so above the rest of us, okay? We're just us little peons down here, the regular people that are watching football. What we're saying is, what's it gonna come down to? What is it going to be? When the moment arrives, okay, what is going to decide the fate of the Indianapolis Colts? And I'm here to tell you, it's gonna be Daniel Jones. Because Sauce Gardner could come up there and look like an all-pro. And that defense can show up. And that offensive line can pass, protect, and it can run block. And Jonathan Taylor can run with that football. But if they find themselves in a situation which Pittsburgh just put them in a few days ago, where they said, nah, dog, you gonna have to beat us. Somehow, some way, we gonna make it come down to you. That quarterback has to be able to answer the call. It could be just one pass, like J.J. McCarthy did, this past week with Minnesota. You understand when he converted the 3rd down, 3rd and 14. You saw that pass that he threw to seal the deal for the game. It could be just one pass, but at some point you do it, and he went out there and showed them he could. That is what Daniel Jones is going to have to do, Mr. 1 year, $14 million deal. You know what? That's eligible for his market value is at about $184 million. They're saying right now with the kind of year that he's having. What you're gonna do is gonna come down to you. That is what I'm saying. But football snobs don't get that. What they do is they bring everything else into the equation, okay? They don't bring it down to that.
Matters.
I'm bringing it down to that.
Because it matters. And you sound like Martin Lawrence on the last Bad Boys, too. What you gonna do?
Great movie. Great. Bad Boys 4 was off the charts.
That's one fantastic.
Listen.
Fantastic.
No one ever. Go ahead.
Yeah. I would rather eat onions. I would rather eat mushrooms. I'd rather eat weird seafood. I'd rather drink black coffee.
All good things if you
than
do
do
it
what
right.
I'm going to do. I agree with
Onions,
Stephen
mushrooms, and coffee are all normal foods, but keep going.
A. No, they're not.
Hold it. You rather do that than what? You rather do that than what?
Agree with Stephen A. Stephen A. is right.
Say it louder.
Don't Dan.
Say it loud.
Dan, don't you
Stephen
Dan?
A.
Say it loud.
Dan, you
Say
work
it
with
loud.
us more than him.
I'm blinking. Stephen A. is right.
Do you have a group chat with him?
No, man. I don't.
Wow.
He also didn't. Here's my thing.
Change the group chat, Mina.
And this is where I disagree with you, RC, when you said you can't make them. Daniel Jones, you can't make. Yeah, they already did. They've already done that. When they make this trade, they put Daniel Jones, the Colts, under more pressure than any quarterback left in the NFL this season.
It's true.
And the reality is, they publicly have declared, we think we can. They're one of those teams who truly believes it. The picks no longer matter for our future, nor does leverage. Because once they made the trade for Sauce, the leverage of you could be the guy that goes somewhere else and gets paid, that's out the window. Daniel Jones got all the leverage now. And so they've already done this in Indianapolis. It's on his shoulders. We all know the teams matter. Of course that, who you go with. But Daniel Jones, and here's the thing, do I believe he can handle the lofty expectations? My answer to that literal question, this year's Daniel Jones, yes. But it's hard for me to unsee the things of the past. It's hard for me to just pretend that for a 3-year stretch, Daniel didn't lead the NFL in turnovers. It's hard for me to pretend that for a 3-year stretch, he was the worst quarterback in football under pressure. And that's the difference with the guy that we've seen this year, is those two things he's been exceptional at. So if I'm getting this year's guy, yeah, but it is hard for me to pretend that I haven't seen the things of the years past.
I can't, bro. The one person. Bro, you are.
I would rather have black coffee. I think black coffee is awful.
But you are silver lining playbook, Dan.
Yeah, I
you
know,
always figure out a way to find the bright spot.
It's a great movie.
Any quarterback.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. In any quarterback.
Good movie. Bradley Cooper.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Great movie. The dance at the end was excellent and also terrible at the same time.
You remember movies at a high rate.
I know. But Dan, for you, the guy that always finds the silver lining, to not be able to look at the way that Daniel Jones has played this year, when the structure is correct, and then go beyond the structure, the way he's handled pressure, to look at one game against the Steelers and say, okay, that's the old Daniel, and now when they make the change to go get Sauce Gardner, be all in, to say that you don't believe he can go
I do.
because of the past?
No, I do. I believe he can. I do. I'm literally saying yes.
Falling to recency bias.
Go ahead.
Daniel Jones has been awesome this season. I was the biggest Daniel Jones critic in the world for a few years in New York. It's one game. And for me, not to be a football snob and bring up context, but moving forward, if the question is, can Daniel Jones handle this? My answer is, the system around him is good enough to support him, even if there are ups and downs. This offensive line is so good at run blocking. The skill players are so good at getting yards after the catch. Until last week, Shane Steichen has been awesome. I am going to bet on those things that I have seen with my own 2 eyes, as well as a quarterback who has been phenomenal this year up to one game.
I agree, Mina.
Mina, I don't see you bragging about bets you win. You've lost a few bets, Mina. This might be another one of them. I mean, we don't know. The bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. Check this out. Lamar Jackson is a 2-time league MVP. The brother's electrifying, one of the scariest football players ever, what he brings to the table. What do we religiously lament about him? What we see during the regular season, you're waiting to see that during the playoffs.
Not we.
Okay?
You.
Hold on. We've done that. No, we've done that. We know he's great. I'm simply making the case. Daniel Jones is having an exceptional year. But we understand what the playoffs are and what it means and what's called upon for you to do. We have to see that. That's all I'm saying. I think the jury's still out. We'll see what happens.
But I hate the whole, when people in our role say I got to see it to believe it, I'm just not a fan of that. Like, that's not our job. No. Anyone can sit there, watch it happen, and then tell somebody, yes, because it's already happened, I believe in it. Yeah. The question is, Do we believe that Daniel can handle the lofty expectations? He has no other choice. He's under the most pressure than any quarterback left in football. And if he plays the way he has this year, the answer is yes. If he plays the way he has this year, I'd be surprised that this team's in the AFC title game.
I'm not taking that from Dan Orlovsky. Dan Orlovsky sat on this show numerous times last year and said the same exact thing when I was having these questions about Sam Darnold. And then when I went off about how they celebrated him before the season finale against Detroit, knowing they didn't win the division title yet, knowing they hadn't won a playoff game yet, Dan Orlovsky got on me about that. And then he got romped by Detroit, and then after that lost the #1 seed, dropped to a 5, went to the playoffs against the Rams, got beat again, and you didn't have anything. And you couldn't say anything. You can hate all you want to what people say, but that don't make it false just because you hate it. The fact is, you do have to show up and prove. Yeah. Game 9 of the season doesn't cut the mustard. You do got to show up when it counts, Dan. There's nothing wrong with that. We know he could play. He's in the NFL. He's a starting quarterback. Give him his respect. I got that part. But there's nothing wrong with saying, yo, the competition stiffens, and you know what you're getting away with now might not be the case. They might look at that film from Pittsburgh. They might have figured out something about you. They might expose you. There's nothing wrong with pointing that out. That's not right to be having an attitude about that.
Mustard is delicious, but also it's also hard to put him in that stratosphere. He's coming off a season where he had a career-high 5 turnovers. It's hard, but we'll get there with the Colts.
Snobs.
Can you believe the Broncos and Pats have the best records in the NFL? Yeah. The NFL, the Bucs are going to host the Pats this Sunday in a matchup between two quarterbacks who have really stepped up in a big way this season, right? Baker Mayfield kept his team in the win column despite losing multiple weapons and multiple injuries. Meanwhile, Drake Maye has avoided completely the sophomore slump, has the Pats on a 6-game win streak. So Maye and Mayfield have led their teams to a combined 13-4 record this season. Maye's breakout season has him rise to now the second favorite to win MVP behind only Josh Allen. Baker Mayfield is the 5th favorite to win MVP, also trailing Mahomes and Matthew Stafford. And so now we have these two quarterbacks that are going to face off against each other. So we'll have an answer on Sunday, but we don't like to predict. We don't like to wait till after it happens. We're going to predict on this show. Who are we higher on, RC? Maye or Mayfield?
Drake Maye. And I understand, though, this is like picking between your kids, right? You love them both. You look at Baker Mayfield. If you're Baker Mayfield's father, you're proud of your son that's overcome all of these things, right? And is now playing at the level of his potential through hard work. But then you look at Drake Maye, and the whole time everybody was talking about Baker, your oldest son, you kept telling them, man, but the one that's coming after him, he's tall, he can run, he's smart, he's competitive, right? All those things. And you see Drake Maye continuing to get better each and every week, and it's a different thing, right? Like one week it's composure, next week it's poise, the next week it's his ability to move his legs. Now it's him pushing the football down the field. The chemistry between Pop Douglas and Steph Diggs, like all of those things are continuing to ascend each and every week. And then when you look at his stats, we're talking about 2nd in passer rating, 1st in completions. He's doing things that you see veterans start to do from the pocket. And so for me, it's Drake Maye, but obviously you love everything Baker Mayfield has done this season as well.
I literally don't have a stance on either one. I love both of these quarterbacks. I've loved Baker Mayfield since he was the first pick.
Silver lining playbook, Dan's back.
That's also not what we do on this show.
You're asking me. Pick one. I don't want to pick one. That's rare for me. Are you higher on Maye or Baker? I love them both. I think both are great players. I would have them both in my top 5 or top 6 MVP right now. So, like, I can't
So does the betting odds.
Yeah,
like, that's not a
the betting odds for me are odd. How is Josh Allen #1? That one for me is odd.
Everybody loves Josh Allen.
That one is odd for me at #1. I wouldn't have Josh in the top 5 right now. But both of them. I am not choosing to be higher on either of them. I love them both.
Stephen A., Maye or Mayfield?
Listen. If you're talking about the future, I would tell you Drake Maye because of his size, his youth, and everything that comes with it. Being in the 2nd year, finally receiving some coaching with Mike Vrabel and what he's been able to do, fine. What I would tell you, however, is that if you're talking about right now, I would go with Baker Mayfield. For me, we're just a few weeks removed from having Baker Mayfield as a leading candidate for league MVP honors. That was before Mike Evans went down. Chris Godwin's been out as well. Bucky Irvin has been out. And yet, Baker Mayfield still has these brothers with just 2 losses on the season. And who were those 2 losses to? It was the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles. They've got victories against Seattle and San Francisco on their resume. And I'm looking at it from that standpoint, and I'm looking at him on deep passes. We rave about Drake Maye on deep passes. Mayfield on deep passes, 8 touchdowns, no picks, a 123.7 passer rating on deep passes this season of 20 or more yards downfield. I'm looking at it from that standpoint, along with an NFL high 4 fourth-quarter comebacks. And I'm going to look at Baker Mayfield and say, what if he had Evans? What if he had Godwin? What if he had Irvin? Who knows what he would be doing then? I like Baker Mayfield.
You believe in him, though?
Man, if it was a 5th, we'd all be tore up.
Do you believe in him?
Yeah, he just
Do I believe in Baker Mayfield? I believe in him more than I believe in Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones.
You knew exactly. He knew exactly why he asked you.
Yeah.
Mina gave me all these good stats when she left, but you didn't even put up no fight, man. That was boring.
Yeah, you guys are asking me like to pick against like some of my favorite guys. I have favorites as kids.
We'll talk more about
Quarterback
this
lover.
on Monday after
Quarterback lover.
they meet. All right.